You may be thinking, what is this strange blinking device? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this may be the greatest mod ever made for Fallout 4. Welcome to episode 38 of the Fallout 4 Mod Vault. This is actually a salvage beacon from the Salvage Beacon mod, and it is busy sending a signal out to a salvage team that is on its way right now to empty the contents of this dresser. This dresser is filled with stuff, with ammo, drugs, junk, weapons, you name it. It is filled with things I have found on my amazing adventure, which is currently, about 100 meters away from my own settlement. And right now, a team is on its way. And there they are, my salvage team. They've come along to the area designated. They are busy looting the things from the container. And now they're going back to Nordhagen Beach. And when they arrive, they will dump the stuff in the workbench. If you do not do a lot of junking and collecting stuff for your settlements, this mod may seem a little, meh, but for those of you who spend half your life trying to find random bits of ceramic, steel, cloth, wood and whatever else, this mod is going to change the way you play. The way it works is pretty simple and fairly instinctive. The first thing you're going to need is a communications station, someplace where one of your settlers can listen out for the radio beacons and send out a salvage team. And you build that under Resources, Miscellaneous and Communications Station. I'll place it here. Now you actually only need one in all of your settlements. You don't need one in each settlement. You can have just one and the mod will work. However, I do recommend having several of these placed at strategic points around the Commonwealth. I'll explain why later. The next thing you need is a settler to actually man the radio. So let's assign her to the desk. Now, it may take a few seconds, but what you're looking for now is a chair to appear. Once the chair appears, it means she's successfully been assigned to this desk. She doesn't always have to actually sit at it. I'm going to reassign her just to make sure. I've noticed it can take a couple of attempts.
Okay.
And sometimes, there you go, there's the chair. The chair has now appeared. She is now our communications officer for this settlement. The next step is to build some actual salvage beacons, and you do that at the chemistry desk. Where else? And it takes a few items, but it's not that expensive. I mean, circuitry, copper, crystal and steel. And I know what you're thinking, yeah, but if I have to use this each and every single time I use a salvage beacon, I'll be using a lot of very expensive stuff. The thing is, these salvage beacons are reusable. When they pick up all of the junk you leave behind, they pick up the salvage beacon and you can pick it up at the settlement you delivered it to. So I've just made a few of them. You are going to get a message telling you that you need to set up a communications center. This will only happen the first time you make those beacons. Now, to use these salvage beacons, you will need to find a container that has no stolen items in it. This will not work if any items are stolen. I have a dresser here and I'm going to place a lot of the stuff I am carrying and do not need. Perhaps I've got a couple of spare weapons I don't need, lots of food and beverages. And once I have all of the stuff I wish to be returned to the settlement in the container, I just place the settlement beacon. It comes under that section. There you go. Salvage beacon, excuse me. It will give me a message saying, where would you like to send it? Now, it doesn't matter where the communication center is. You can send this to any of your settlements. I am going to return it to Nordhagen Beach, though. The closer the communication station and the closer the settlement is to where the container is, the faster the pickup will be. And there you can see the salvage team on its way. It was dispatched from the workshop in Nordhagen Beach, and it is now on its way to my container. They arrive at the site. They stay here for a minute or so, picking up the stuff, obviously, and when they're done, they will go back to Nordhagen Beach. And there they go, I think. Yes, they're off. They have now picked up the gear. They return to the settlement, and once there, they will dump the stuff into the workbench, and you should get a message a few seconds later telling you that the shipment has arrived, and you will be able to pick up your stuff. There it is. Salvage team returned to Nordhagen Beach. If I now go in here and go to the weapons section, there are my weapons and all of the other things I left in there too. The salvage beacons work just fine if you use them in an interior like a building, but just bear in mind the longer it takes them to get there and back, the longer it takes for you to receive your stuff. Don't worry about your salvage team or your items, they're pretty safe. The way the mod works underneath is it doesn't actually place the items in the Brahman, it leaves them in the container until these guys get back, and then it transfers it kind of magically. That's just a safety measure so that if your salvage crew do fall through a hole in the map or some such thing, you won't lose all your stuff. This mod is just exactly what I needed. It has always annoyed me how my settlers don't help out, won't go off and pick up junk for me when I've cleared an area. I mean, I should just be able to send a retrieval team to an area that's totally safe, I've killed everything, and have them pick up stashes of rubbish and junk that I have set up for them. This mod makes me feel like the leader of an organization. It makes me feel like I have got a small army, a group of people who are willing to do what is needed to make the Commonwealth a better place. And of course, it does help me get more stuff to build better settlements. This is the TNR Shoulder Lamp, and unsurprisingly enough, it's a lamp that is attached in such a way to cast light over your left shoulder. It is a completely separate piece of equipment, so you can wear any of the usual armor pieces you want to wear with it, but obviously how it looks will vary armor to armor. However, how it functions will not vary. It pretty much functions the exact same way the headlamp for the power armor does. It replaces your Pip-Boy light and just casts a torch-like beam ahead of you. You craft the item at the chemistry bench, and you can modify it at the armor bench and change the color. For example, I will change the light to red, and as you can see, I now have a red over the shoulder lamp. You'll also notice there are dynamic shadows. That is up to you. You can have dynamic shadows or not. That's going to be something you have to decide based upon the strength of the machine you're running the game on. And due to the size and build of this item, you do actually get a little bit of damage resistance and energy resistance, 10 for both. Although oddly enough, I would point out apparently you can attach ballistic weave to this item, which does seem to be a little odd. Of course, if you don't want to attach ballistic weave to it, you don't have to. I'm probably not going to do that. This is a great little mod. The model for this item looks superb. It performs exactly as you would expect, and it gives you a lot of customization options. Now, the next mod grabbed my attention because it's one of those that as soon as I saw it, I kind of thought, yeah, that really does make sense. The mod is called Immersive Drumlin Diner, and you can probably see exactly what I mean immediately. This mod makes the Drumlin Diner actually look like a place somebody has set up a business and a home in. You have a shop area that looks pretty damn secure and perfectly realistic, and there is a comfortable and clean looking living area that lacks a lot of creature comforts and has very basic features such as mattresses and chairs, but actually generally looks a hell of a lot nicer than the vanilla Dyna does. The broken windows have been boarded up, making the place look a lot more secure and weatherproof. And there is even a little vegetable garden with a water pump, which definitely makes the place look a little more, well, kind of like a settlement. It is a fairly basic mod, and there is a small problem at the back with some missing meshes by the looks of things. I think a small mistake was made, and it would be nice if you could fix that. However, from now on, I will not be able to look at the vanilla Drumlin Dyna without thinking, this really does not make any sense. This is the Gravity Fist. Now, it may well be the first unarmed weapon that I've covered in this series, but it definitely makes me want to cover more. The model is really interesting, it's really well done and looks quite believable actually. It has great animations and an amazing sound when you hit things. Now, my character does not have any perks in Unarmed, so these damage ratings will seem a little low for those of you who have a Kung Fu based character, but the Gravity Fist in its base form actually does more damage than, say, the Power Fist of the Furious, so it is a fairly good endgame weapon. The weapon can be modified. You can have improved blast housing, which adds more damage, or combined blast housing, which adds more damage and some extra knockback, and it does actually increase the damage noticeably. You can change the colour of this item to white or black, and you can even change the colour of the lights from red to blue to green, although I don't think it actually makes any difference to the effect when you hit people. The mod author has stated that he's going to create a unique version of this fist that actually has the Fusro dart effect from Skyrim, which could be amusing, but even in its current state, I'm not going to lie to you, there is something deeply satisfying about hitting things in the face with this weapon. And that is it for this video. Of course, I'm ending with the screenshots that you guys have been posting. They are great as always. Thank you for posting them. And if you would like to post an image for me to use in any of my videos, I will leave a link down below. It will take you to a video that will show you exactly how you can do that. Let me thank you in advance for doing so. Hopefully I will be back next week with more great mods to share with you, and I would love it if you could join me for that. I look forward to seeing you there, and until then, remember as always, have fun. If you're curious as to whether I've covered a mod in one of my videos, feel free to go along to my website, gophersvids.com, and check the search functionality out. Just type the name of the mod you're interested in, open up the settings, and filter by mods only. Click for search, and you will see whether or not I've covered that mod. Click on the mod, and it will also show you any of the videos this mod appears in.